Santa Claus woke up on Christmas Eve to a world of soft, indistinct shapes. His bedroom was a blurry haze of red and white. He reached for his nightstand, fingers trembling, but his hand swiped through empty air. His glasses were gone. Panic began to stir in his chest as he squinted at the calendar on the wall. The dates, usually so clear, were nothing more than messy black smudges. Where could they be? He muttered, stumbling toward the door. He tripped over a stack of wrapping paper, sending colorful rolls skidding across the floor. Without his lenses, every object was a mystery, every corner a trap. Time was ticking, and the world remained a beautiful, terrifying fog. Determined not to let the children down, Santa grabbed a heavy sack from the pantry, assuming it held his carefully sorted treats. He hurried toward the village under a veil of moonlight. At the very first house, a small shadow sat on the porch. Santa squinted, seeing only a fluffy silhouette. "Aha, a good boy," he whispered. He reached into his sack and pulled out a large, dried dog bone, dropping it with a thud. The cat let out a sharp hiss and swiped at his boots with unsheathed claws. Santa just chuckled, stepping back. Such a playful little fellow, he thought. At the next house, a golden retriever barked a greeting. Santa reached in again, pulling out a slimy, silver fish. He tossed it onto the lawn with a confident grin. The dog sniffed the cold fish, looked up in utter confusion, and began to howl at the moon. Santa moved through the village like a whirlwind of well-intentioned disaster. He visited 10 more houses, this blurry vision turning every pet into a guessing game. He dropped heavy beef bones into glass bowls for tiny goldfish. He tossed slippery salmon to poodles who preferred biscuits. "I am doing a marvelous job tonight," he told himself, patting his belly. Behind him, the village was erupting into absolute pandemonium. Dogs were barking at fish, cats were fighting over bones they couldn't chew, and the night air was filled with the sounds of confused animals. Poodles were chasing goldfish flakes, while the goldfish stared at giant bones sinking to the bottom of their tanks. It was a symphony of errors, a comedy of treats, and Santa was the conductor of the chaos. He reached his sleigh at the edge of town, sighing with a deep sense of relief. He felt like a hero, unaware that the village was now a madhouse of mismatched snacks. He climbed into his seat, ready to fly back to the North Pole, feeling the weight of a successful mission. But as he adjusted his heavy red coat, he felt something hard and familiar pressed against his ribs. He reached into his inner pocket and pulled out a pair of wire-rimmed frames. He slid them onto his nose, and the world suddenly snapped into sharp, agonizing focus. He looked at his list, then looked back at the village. "Oh no," he whispered, his face turning as red as his suit. There was no time to waste. Santa grabbed a fresh bag of appropriate treats and sprinted back toward the houses. For the next 3 hours, he was a blur of motion, retracing every single step. "I am so sorry, little one," he whispered to the cat as he swapped the bone for a tuna treat. He apologized to the poodles,
the goldfish, and the howling retriever, making sure every belly was full of the right food.
By the time the sun began to peek over the horizon, the chaos had settled. Exhausted, Santa finally returned home. He hung his glasses on a special gold hook by the door. Never again. He promised himself with a tired smile. He watched the sunrise, relieved that Christmas was saved, one correct treat at a time.